everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to take you through a yoga for bedtime, and this is more of a yin based practice, so we'll be holding the poses for a lot longer than usual. So we've got a few props to help you through these poses to hold them for longer periods of time. So here I've got two blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can change those for books. I've got a cushion, then a folded blanket, and I've also got a bolster. Now, if you don't own a bolster, that's fine. Just grab a nice big cuddly pillow or a couple of those to help support you in each pose. When you're ready, once you've grabbed everything, you've got comfy in some nice PJs, then meet me back here. So we'll start today's practice in a comfortable seated position. Take your cushion just underneath the sit bones to help elevate the hips and allow length to come into the spine. Roll the shoulders back and away from the ears and take the hands wherever is comfortable, whether it's in the lap or on the knees. Close the eyes and soften the eyelids, along with the muscles within the face. Relax the cheeks, the forehead, the jaw, maybe even the clenching of the teeth. And start to bring the awareness to the breath. And as you bring the awareness to the breath, notice how it feels within the body. Does it feel shallow and short, or deep and long? What area of the body expands and deflates as you breathe in and out? During this yin yoga practice today, you will find that the breath is a great tool to help you settle. So as we hold these poses for longer periods of time, the mind starts to wander. It becomes busy. You may fidget within the body as well as within the mind. So if you ever find yourself wandering or drifting away, bring the attention back to the breath. See if you can elongate each inhale and exhale every time you breathe in and out, landing you deeper in this present moment. With your next inhale, start to reach the fingertips up overhead. Exhale, hands come to a prayer position at heart center. Just take a moment with this gesture of gratitude at heart center to be grateful for your practice today. Show gratitude for the ability to take time out for you, for your mind, your body, and spirit. We'll then reach the fingertips up to the ceiling with another inhale. Exhale, plant the right palm down to the mat, side stretch, left arm reaches overhead. Finding length through the whole of the left side body here. Really opening out the left side of the ribs, inflating as you inhale. Play with the gaze to change the stretch within the neck. Inhale to bring the body back to center, reach the fingertips. Exhale, left palm comes behind the body, right hand comes to the left knee, taking a soft and gentle twist. Now we'll be here for a few breaths, so don't force yourself round in this stretch. Take it easy, lengthen through the spine with each inhale, and twist that little bit deeper with each exhale. Once you feel more comfortable in this stretch, you can take the gaze over the left shoulder, spreading the collarbones open out the chest. We'll take an inhale to hold, then as you exhale, slowly unwind and bring the body back to center. Inhale, reach the fingertips high. Exhale, left palm plants this time, right arm reaches overhead. As you stretch over to the left, the tendency is to crunch in that side of the body. Just make sure that you're lifting up out of the waist to create length and space within both sides of the body, not just the right. And again, play around with the gaze, dropping the chin towards the chest or up towards the ceiling. Inhale the body back to center. Exhale, take your twist, right palm behind you, left palm rests on the right knee. And just like on that first side, take it easy as you twist the body. Try not to force the spine in uncomfortable positions. Use your breath to deepen the stretch if you'd like to go further. Take the gaze over the right shoulder. Inhale. Exhale, slowly unwind to bring yourself back to center. Just rest the palms on the knees for a few moments. We'll take a deep breath in through the nose and a cleansing breath out of the mouth. Another just like that, deep breath in, fill up the belly and the chest with air. Then sigh it all out completely, let go. We'll then come to our first pose of our yin yoga practice, a seated forward fold, or also known as caterpillar pose when in yin yoga. So just come to a seated position with the legs out in front of you. You can take your folded blanket and prop it just underneath the sit bones to bring in that elevation of the hips. If the hamstrings are feeling tight, you can take your bolster or pillow just underneath the backs of the knees. Then folding over the legs, you can start to rest the belly and the chest on the thighs. Rounding over softly, drop the head and relax the arms alongside the legs. If you are looking for more sensation, you can slightly part the legs and prop your bolster or cushion in between. You can then create what I like to call a unicorn and bring the bolster to an angle. The full head can then drop and you can completely disengage. Now we're going to be in this pose for about 3 minutes, so really take the time to get yourself comfortable here. Fidget as much as you need to now, then once you settle, bring the awareness to the breath. Slow everything down and close the eyes to shut out any distractions around you. This pose targets the hamstrings and compresses the stomach organs, which helps to strengthen the digestive system. When we think of digestion, we automatically think about the physical process instead of the mental. Just like the body takes time to digest food, taking the nutrients and releasing anything the body doesn't need, we need to take time to digest our thoughts and emotions. So take this time now in stillness to reflect on your day. Notice the positive aspects, what went well for you, Maybe you completed a certain task, or maybe even just taking the time out to do this bedtime yoga practice. And then take the time to think of anything that didn't quite go to plan today. Any negative emotions that you felt, maybe frustration or anger towards something or someone. And with this thought in your mind, whatever went wrong for you, whether the whole day felt more negative than positive, take this time to digest, to let go of what doesn't serve you, and allow those little lights of positivity to fill you. We have about 30 seconds left in this shape. If the body is asking to go deeper, then you have the time to do so. If you are comfortable where you are, stay in stillness. We'll take one more full round of breath here. Breathe in through the nose and exhale out the mouth, let go. Then with your next inhale, start to lift yourself up out of the shape, rolling up through the spine. Take all of the props out from underneath you as we move into our next pose. We'll now come to a seated, wide-legged forward fold, or as known in Yin Yoga as dragonfly pose. We'll take the legs as wide as feels comfortable. If you've not got loads of room, you can come lengthways along your mat like I have. If the blanket underneath the sit bones has helped you in the past two poses, I recommend taking it there now. If you know you have tight hamstrings, then you can take a rolled up blanket under each kneecap to provide a soft bend in the knees. You can also do the same with blocks. However, this can be a lot less comfortable. Then take your bolster or pillow just out in front of you. You can create that unicorn variation, dropping the forehead down. If you're looking for more sensation, you can lie the bolster or the pillow flat and aim to lay the belly and the chest down onto it. Take your first few moments to settle, to relax. If you are new to Yin Yoga and you're used to practicing more of a Yang style, these poses can be quite difficult when holding them for such long periods of time. Now just know that you can always come back to the breath if the mind starts to wander, if you feel yourself getting stuck. It may feel nice to actively sigh out any tension. Now for some, this can be quite a frustrating and difficult pose as it works into the hips, the groin, and the back of the thighs. You may feel a lot of retention to go deeper in this pose. You might even feel you'd like to come out of the shape. But do your best to maintain stillness here. Find your way back to the breath, as it's easy to get caught up in your thoughts. In Yin Yoga, we work with something called meridians. Now, meridians are basically energy channels that run through the body, carrying an energy source called Qi. Now, through traumatic experiences and negative influences on the body and mind, the Qi can build up in certain areas of the body, causing blockages. So they believe in traditional Chinese medicine that Yin Yoga, holding these poses for such a long period of time, can help remove these blockages, that debris that's held within parts of the body. So in some poses, you may feel sudden rushes of emotion, surges of energy, and sometimes a sense of release. If your emotions start to rise to the surface, sometimes our instinct is to push them back down again, bury them deep into the mind. However, the best thing for you is to take this time to release, to let go. Know that this is normal and natural, and that you are in a safe space to do so. You have around 30 seconds left in this shape. If you would like to go any deeper, now is your time to do so. With your next inhale, slowly start to come out of the fold. No rush whatsoever, creeping your way back up to a straight spine. Then we'll start to bring the legs into one another. Again, no rush, just taking your time. You can take some little wiggles here and squidge out the legs. Now here I like to come to what's called a cosmic egg, and you can bend in the knees, soles the feet plant, wrap the arms around the shins and drop the head down, curling into a small little ball. With an inhale, tense every muscle, squeeze the legs in closer, scrunch up the muscles in the face, and as you exhale, completely release out of the pose. Then, keeping the legs bent, bring the soles of the feet together to touch. Open out the knees to the side. If you would like to work more into the outer sides of the legs, then take the feet further away from the groin. Or to work the inside of the legs, bring the heels in closer. You can then take your 2 blocks just underneath each leg. This helps to support the legs and the hips when we come into this reclined variation of butterfly. Then bring your bolster or pillow lengthways behind the spine. Now I quite like to bring the base of the bolster to my low spine, but if your low back is quite tight and sensitive to this, then shift it further away. You can also wedge your folded blanket in between the low spine and bolster to provide a soft gradient. If you are looking for more sensation, more stretch in the hips, then bring the feet on top of a block. This just allows the hips to open further. Shut off the eyes and allow the body to completely surrender. For me, this pose used to be really challenging. As I tilt back, I used to open out my eyes and look towards the ceiling and look around me. If you can relate to this, then it might be nice to grab an eye pillow or some sort of fabric to go over the eyes. This will help you to shut off the outside world, taking away any distractions. If keeping the arms alongside the body is too vulnerable for you here, you can bring your left hand to the heart and your right hand to your belly. This may give you a sense of security in such an open pose. As we approach our first minute in reclined butterfly, start to notice how the mind and body feels. Are you settled and relaxed? Or is the mind busy? Are you fidgeting? Know that you can keep coming back to the breath. Use it as a tool to release tension. This pose helps to reduce stress and calms the mind. It also helps to increase mobility in the hips. At any point, if this pose becomes too intense on the hips for you, Then assist the legs back together and straighten them out in front, still opening out the heart, keeping the bolster at the length of the spine for support, but just taking that attention off the hips. We are just over halfway through. Notice if any tension is creeping into the face, maybe a soft frown or the clenching of the teeth. Use each exhale to let go, to soften, release. We'll take 5 more cycles of breath here. Breathing deeply in through the nose and exhaling out of the mouth. One more round of breath. Take the inhale all the way down to the belly. Exhale, sigh it all out. When you're ready, take the hands just underneath the thighs and start to close the legs up like a little book. Let the soles of the feet plant and allow the knees to drop into one another. Soak up all the sensations that you feel after opening out the hips so deeply. If the body is craving movement, then you can take some windshield wiper motions with the knees, rocking them from side to side. Take this as slowly and as steadily as you need to. Then drop the knees to the left side of the mat. Come to the left side of the body, softly rolling off the bolster. Push the bolster to one side and then find a laying position on your back. Just before we come to our final yin posture of the practice, I'd like you to take some time to notice how the body feels. Focusing on the areas that we stretched, so the heart and the shoulders, into the hips and the inner thighs. Reflect on the emotions, the sensations, and the thought patterns that came up for you. Then for our final pose, you'll need a block or a cushion. I personally prefer the cushion as it's a little comfier. Then we'll come back to laying with the knees bent and the cushion or block just underneath the body at the low spine. Then once you've found a comfortable position, start to pick the feet off the mat and send them up to the ceiling for a variation of legs up the wall pose. If you are close to a wall and would prefer to use that, then you're more than welcome to do so. Rest the hands wherever is comfortable, whether it's along the sides of the body or maybe palms resting on the belly. Soften the eyelids and start to slow down your breathing, making these last few rounds of breath the deepest of your whole practice, of your whole day. If you find keeping the legs straight difficult on the hamstrings, then you can bend in the knees and allow them to fall towards the chest, keeping the toes elevated. This pose is not only perfect to end your practice, it's great to end your day with it. It helps to calm the mind and aid insomnia, sending you off to a peaceful night's sleep. One more cycle of breath here. In your own time, start to bend back into the knees and lower the feet down to the ground. Take your cushion or block out from underneath you and make your way into your final Shavasana. Take any motions, wiggles, or any extra poses you feel you need to do to complete your practice. You can also take this time to get yourself cozy for your final resting pose. Blankets, eye pillows, maybe even a bolster underneath the knees. Relax the muscles in the face, the forehead, the eyelids, the cheeks, the jaw, maybe even the clenching of the teeth. Relax the shoulders and the chest, the upper arms and forearms, into the hands and the fingertips. Then releasing tension from the torso into the hips, relaxing the thighs, the kneecaps, the shins and the calves, ankles, feet, down into the toes. Stay in your Shavasana for as long as you need to, or roll over and drift off to sleep. Thank you so much for joining me in this Yin Yoga bedtime practice. I wish you a beautiful night's sleep. Namaste.